Welcome back. We are here for the Between Secrets and Lavender, episode 3. Welcoming back Felix. And speaking of which, let's find out what happened to Felix during our night phase and where he is now.
So, as I had been barred from the building, I decided to go and explore the grounds. There was that fawning strike breaker. So my thought was I will bring in some business and everything will be fine. Except neither of us could find our way through the maze. Night fell. I got stuck in a bramble. I don't know where the strike breaker is, but what's most important is that I'm back at Hargrave House. Torn, uh, scuffed, but back home, safe, comfortable.
So, please describe, if you can, what state we find you in of undress or dress, whatever, this morning, uh, when someone possibly might be knocking or calling upon Hargrave House.
Uh, I'm wearing the same thing as yesterday. It is a nice silk shirt, torn, stained with dirt. The well-fitted corduroy pants are just askew, eh, barely put together. Uh, and Felix waits for somebody else to answer the door so he's not beholden to provide hospitality. I guess it goes for about 2 minutes and
Ding ding
as
ding 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 ding
opens
ding
the door.
ding.
Yes, this is Hargrave House.
You see a fairly well-dressed Asian woman standing there, and she's in the middle of ringing the bell, and she's just a little bit nonplussed seeing you in your state. I, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to disturb you. Um, I'm Jenny Johnston. Is this all right? I have a problem.
Yes. And he will look at the bell. I can tell. How can Hargrave House help you today? Very pointedly, not welcoming her in.
We have been keeping certain things to ourselves. There have been 3 people found dead in the last few days. We do not want the authorities involved.
Please come in. And he will step aside
She will
and
bow and she will let you know, yes. And, yes, 3 people around the Limehouse district where I have a business have been found dead.
I see. And as she enters, you see that Felix's demeanor changes to be a bit more formal, more professional. Very well. If you would follow me to the kitchen, we will provide at least a modicum of hospitality. While you are here, you are under the protection of Hargrave House, and no harm shall come to you.
That is appreciated, thank you.
Who is we? He asks as he sets out tea.
I am. I consider myself the head of my community at Limehouse. And again, I do not want certain authorities involved because I feel that their heavy handedness may cause disturbance among our members.
Very well. And are there any pressures on you. You said there are three murders. Are there people looking for these victims? Do you fear that the authorities are going to get involved regardless?
If they knew about them, yes. The way they were the way they were killed is not usual, which is why I am here at Hargrave House. I had heard that you handle strange issues like this.
Indeed, we do. The other hunters are quite experienced with that sort.
She kind of cocks her head at you. Not you?
No, I'm more of a social individual, providing hospitality and care and answering questions and investigating opportunities that may arise, such as your case.
It is still in order that I can tell you then.
Of course,
Ah,
we are here to help you.
I see.
We are here to serve London.
Well, all of the bodies that were found were completely bloodless, exsanguinated.
Peculiar. Very well. Do you have a business card? We can investigate quite promptly later today.
Ah, yes, yes. And she produces like a rather clouded card for her opium den in Limehouse.
I see. If you'll give me but a moment, I would be more than happy to follow you.
Certainly. And she will like before you get up to ready yourself and whatever, she will let you know very quickly about the victims. And
Aside from the fact that they were exsanguinated,
yeah, like just like kind of like their quick background. I mean, like one was a sex worker named Soft Jimmy. Another one was a young mother, Charla Bell, and the other one was a dock worker, a sailor, uh, Zhao Donghai.
and no obvious connection between them.
No, aside from the fact that they were found like near or in Limehouse. So,
Okay. I, as a player, note this. Felix does not care.
of course not. Of
He
course
is
not.
going to go and find something that is suitably appropriate, probably long flowing silks and the like, something that will be eye catching, something that will be fashionable, uh, and then he will follow our new, what do we call them?
Contact? I don't know.
Our new contact.
Well, my question is like, do the other hunters, and again, we can totally do a time jump if that's what you choose to do the other hunters make it home before Felix goes off with Jenny Johnston?
That would probably be the best narratively, since you said that Mordecai specifically has to be involved with this one.
Well, I mean, like, Mordecai can answer to a particular question that requires more reason than Felix has at his fingertips.
I think the opportunity for Mordecai and Felix to buddy cop would be absolutely spectacular.
Okay, I think Mordecai does not has probably gotten home before dawn. Mordecai does not enjoy sunlight.
So for
It's because they're so pale.
right, because for before the full fingers of dawn like start
Mm,
touching the
yeah.
house, I mean, like you probably like make it home in time to yeah, to do whatever you do before um morning ablutions. But why didn't you answer if you did make it home before dawn? Why didn't you answer the door?
Oh, the door. Because I was a little distracted.
Okay.
My entities were talking to me, and I was listening, and then I just did not, and also I did not feel like answering the doorbell. Somebody else could do it, right? Felix was right there.
And you didn't let Felix know you were in the house.
I thought he'd noticed, honestly.
Oh my God. Okay. Uh, just just for funsies. Just for funsies. Do you make your presence known before or after Felix changes?
I think this is rather incidental because I feel that, oh, I have not had coffee or tea. I have not had tea. I should go and have some before going to bed because this was a long night. And that's when I come out, and I will leave it to Felix to decide in what kind of state of dress I will find them.
So you're going down to the kitchens to
Yes,
find tea,
yes.
and our client isn't there yet.
I mean, she
Maybe,
totally could be. I mean, like, that's perfectly
It
fine.
would be
maybe,
funny if Mordecai went down
yeah.
to get tea and
Mhm.
then there's just a client there
Okay.
sitting and waiting alone in our grave house.
It's not like we have a parlor, you know. But okay, I will not comment on this. I will say, oh, good morning.
Uh, good good morning. Are you are also uh of Hargrave House then?
Obviously, yes, I live here. Are you one of Felix's friends?
Uh, no, I had come to tell you all about
Oh,
a a case.
oh, apologies then. Uh, I assume somebody let you in.
Yes, uh, I
I,
guess it
I
was.
will push open the door, covered in luxurious silks, all myriad of different colors. It was me, Mordecai. I
Oh,
let her in.
fabulous.
Yes. Get your tea. We're going out to the town. Well, to an opium den.
Oh,
People have been killed, exsanguinated, somewhere in between there. I don't know. I
exsanguinated.
didn't really pay attention.
And then like Jenny's face just kind of like, looks shocked when you say that, and she looks to you, Mordecai, and says, "Yes, bloodless, completely
I
exsanguinated."
Yes, I'm aware what exsanguinated means. Thank you very much. But I will accompany you, of course. I will
And she
get
will she
tea.
will actually like look at you and like, and tell you a little bit more because Hargrave House knows about creatures that drink the blood of their victims. They're called vampires. A detail in Jenny's story convinces you this particular vampire has the body of a small child. What is it?
Um, I think the fact that these people, they had at least one of them, and probably the dock worker, had not yet been to the opium den, but was a regular and didn't fight. So something was off here. And from the way I think, I the body of a small child. I think she tells me that there were scuff marks on the clothing, like from a shoe or something, and that seems a little odd for a grown vampire wouldn't have to do that. And vampires come in all shapes and sizes, sadly enough.
Exactly. The vampire is physically a child, but that doesn't mean it's young. Vampires never physically age beyond how old they were when they were turned, and an old vampire has to be handled in a very different way from a young one. So, give me a second. I'm just gonna like plug this into the happy summary, and I will include your detail in a few
Very
minutes.
interesting.
Okay. All right. So the questions and opportunities available to you about this. And again, I'll plug this in a minute.
Mhm.
Your first question is the vampire young or old? This is a complexity 4. And
Mhm.
answering this question will unlock the next appropriate question. Okay. So you
Mhm.
have to decide, is the
Mhm.
vampire young or old, even though it has the body of a small child? Okay.
Okay,
So
cool. Very
that'll be
well,
the
I will
question.
go and get my parasol and then we can go.
Okay. Oh, and then there is an associated mask, threat mask
Mhm.
with this threat
Oh,
called Mask of the Sun.
oh no, no, thank you very much.
Mask of the Sun. Okay. Alrighty. So that's what's available right now. We've got Felix and Mordecai going over to said opium den with Jenny Johnston. What is happening with Jiayi and Ellie?
Well, I gotta say that I kind of look like what the cat dragged in at the moment because having been hauled across the forest floor by a branch, I've got twigs in my hair, I've got leaves stuck to my clothes, I've got grime
I
uh
I will
everywhere.
say you could have been, you were helped up by a quite handsome
Oh yes,
Dr. Holzer, but
that's right.
if you want, you could leave that to just the evening and him passing through, or he could have walked you home. I leave that up to you.
I don't feel like anybody that I meet in a supernaturally active forest probably bears a little more paying attention to.
It was
So,
verging
yeah,
upon dawn. I mean,
I'll let him walk me home.
maybe he tries to clean you off a little bit, like if you let him. You seem to have something in your hair.
Oh, oh, thank you. Pardon me. So, what what brought you out into such a spot?
I I was sent to see to looking at the bodies uh, at the behest of Miss Pemberton Potts.
Ah,
I am one of her wards, but I could not see and leave you there without seeing you home,
oh,
if that
I
was all
I
right.
I appreciate it. It's been a long night. So, yeah, as I guess you know, I'm one of the people who's also looking into the situation.
Yes, yes, I will probably be going back to look at the body.
Yeah, from what I hear, it's a real weird one.
He just nods and, just gestures at his bag. Uh, I am a doctor. I can take a look, but from what she had said, it could be quite strange.
So do
Do
you
you
find
need?
yourself looking into weird stuff very often?
He kind of just purses his lips and just kind of like shakes his head. Not really. Uh, Usually trying to study different things, and uh, he hesitates because he's like not sure how much he should say because he's kind of like awkward in that way. I mean, but you know, I am doing it as a favor to my. I don't exactly know how it would be termed. Like if she's, if he's her ward. I mean, but anyway, however that how that works. But I mean, yeah, he's just kind of like looking a little bit like shy and awkward about it. Um, uh, I am going back to Little Blackbirds. Uh, it, did Were you going back as well, or
No, no, I'm going home for a bit. Uh, I'll be back there later today, probably. We'll see. But I have got to get at least some sleep. Looking up at the sky. Yeah, been a long night.
I may see you later, then.
Yep.
And he will just kind of you know um, see you to Hargrave House's door, and give you a little bit of a smile, and then walk back down the street towards um, Ms. Pemberton Potts's place. Like, because I don't know if you saw the card, but I mean, like, she did say that she was like your neighbor down the way a bit. So maybe, and then he'll turn back a little bit, like, just as you're maybe going, like, going into the house, and say, maybe I will see you for tea.
Maybe. I really don't know what the day's gonna bring. But
And he just kind of nods and then walks on. So, Jiayi, are you back at Little Blackbirds, or are you headed back to Hargrave?
That depends. Do we want a vulnerable scene with Ellie and Jiayi or someone, or do we want to just investigate?
I mean, people got conditions, so.
oh yeah, I could definitely use a vulnerable scene.
Yeah,
And
in
if
that
we
case,
indulge in my vice, we'll be in the right neighborhood to meet up with the other two.
yeah, I'm fine just saying that. However, I heard about this case, assuming that cinema rules, we can just know these things. And we can
Did
just speak
anybody
to
think
them.
to leave a note?
I mean, like, I usually just play it like, unless somebody specifically says they're not telling us, we know these things, because I personally don't think it's like super interesting to dedicate like a lot of time to how did we find out there's
Yeah.
some, like,
Yeah.
We
Legit,
did.
legit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We did say that Jenny did provide a business card, so
Mhm.
leaving that there,
Yeah.
if not Felix, then Mordecai
Would
would say,
yeah.
this is where we're going.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably
Mhm.
probably leaves you some hint at least where they've gone. More murder.
More murder. More murder.
There
More
are
murder off to hunt a vampire.
It just do
And-
be like that.
And if
there are
anything-
two notes. One says murder, vampire, question, and then the business card, and the other one in Felix's handwriting is just a very fancy out.
Oh my gosh. And if anything, I think maybe Ellie, because of your addiction to opium as your vice, I mean, like, you may even recognize the name of Jenny's opium den. I mean, like, it doesn't have a name as I can see here. It's just like known as an opium den.
Recognize the address or
You
whatever.
recognize the address, exactly. So I mean, like, it's perfectly fine if you want to, like, say that you know where this is and you recognize where they're going. And then be like, oh, okay, it's this place. All right, cool. All right. So if you want to either have a vulnerable scene, like, either at the house or, yeah, like, at the place itself, that's fine too. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I just want to check, because in the chat, Mike also, I'm not sure if that was referring to Ellie or not. Because he said, definitely gonna find her at the scene later during the day phase. I'm not sure if that's
Yeah,
referring
because of
to Ellie.
Ellie's vice being the opium den, and we're all
Yeah, so I just want to check if, because you two have like the most conditions, if you two want to do the vulnerable move or
yeah.
Whomever wants to pair up and then, like, do vulnerable scenes together, like, so let's try to keep within the rules for this first vulnerable scene. So, like, who pairs up, gets to do the vulnerable scene. Yeah, go for it.
I think it would be interesting to have one with Ellie and Felix because Ellie does not trust Felix at this point, so the idea of being vulnerable with him is interesting. But, chemical lubricants and stress.
So your advice remind them, because I could see both of them being present at the den.
Hmm. Mm-mm-mm. That is a good question.
Depends on who wants to be talking freely about their past. Jeez. Ooh.
Yeah. Let's see.
Why not yours? It makes sense since it's the actual venue, gives you a chance
Yeah.
to, with the chemical lubrication, just to talk a little bit more openly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that makes most sense. So. So yeah, I'm just gonna be heading that direction and oh yeah, you're already here. I knew you were gonna be here. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
I
Do
mean,
you?
I don't think you can miss him. Looking at how he's dressed. Jeez.
Yeah, no.
No, just a
And
very.
absolutely, we can definitely construct something for Mordecai and Jiayi for sure. In a different
If
section of the.
if Jazy is into it.
So does Ellie just make a beeline straight for the nearest couch and just need to take a load off, short on sleep, kind of stressed?
Well, let's paint some scenes on the opium
Yes.
den first. Jenny Johnston's opium den, dim and smoky, a heavy ammonia-like smell, and people lounging on cushions. Paint a scene. People from all walks of life patronize Jenny Johnston's. What do you see that indicates this?
I think you have to take off your shoes when you go in. It's just a rule. And you see a lot of different kinds of shoes, like the kind of rundown pauper's shoes, but also very fancy stiletto heel thingies of a gentleman. So stuff like that.
I think the cushions themselves are a clue because sometimes people will bring a cushion with them and just leave it there. Not really as if it's their cushion to sit on, to use every time they're here or anything, but just sort of, yeah, this place could use another cushion. And so some of these are very cheap, split, battered things off of probably some couch or Davenport, whatever, that has seen much better days. But there are also some beautifully embroidered or needle pointed cushions, clearly handmade with care by someone. Of course, they're all now, except for the very most recent entries, so to speak, kind of grubby just from the nature of the place. But there's real variety among them.
I would say the same sort of thing for the pipes that are used for the opium. Some are carved from wood, others are very finely detailed silver.
I'm so sorry. I'm having a bad headache migraine day, so my brain is a little scattered, but I'm not giving up. I think I think it's a little it's like a little tacky, but you know how like in modern hostels you have like the different like bills and like that kind of thing. I think she's basically doing like the Victorian equivalent. So we see, like displayed like little coins, like the Chinese coin, the kwai with like the square in the middle. We see maybe like some gems or like some fabrics or like a Japanese fan. Like she's kind of displaying these things that people have um that like have given instead of just plain money. Because I think, a lot of sailors might not have like the plain money, but they might have some trinkets that they picked up. And we can see like a lot of different, like there's like this absolutely gorgeous Chinese fan that like very obviously belonged to a very wealthy person. And then I think there's like literally just like a nice rock, like obviously just picked up probably even in London. That's like very much like a display almost of a bit of unspoken kindness that she will sometimes allow you to not pay depending on the circumstances. And I think every, month, every so often, something gets added to the collection.
I love that so much. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so this is what you all see when you're here in varied states and different places around the opium den. So yeah, Ellie, and obviously the most obvious thing here is Felix right now, Ellie, in your drained state. So what do you think?
There you are.
Ellie, you look absolutely awful.
Been a night.
Mm.
But I probably would have been coming here anyway. So,
Ah, you partake of this.
yeah. Is this a new venue for you, or you done this before?
The flowers, I'm familiar with them. Just this is a different sort of presentation.
Oh,
You sound like you're very experienced, though.
come here, I'll show you how it's done.
And Felix will sit down and lounge comfortably on a cushion.
And I go through the whole business of gathering up the resin and to a little ball and putting over the pipe and lighting the lamp and is the whole.
Hmm.
And you can just watch Ellie's shoulders kind of uncoil as the smoke first hits. Just yeah.
Bundle of nerves. Goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. This particular situation. I don't like feeling hunted, and that's how I was feeling last night out in the woods.
Hmm. So there is something with that maze then.
Yeah. There's there's an intelligence out there that does not like us. But kind of getting distracted by the cushion that she's lounging against.
You said that you didn't like being hunted. Is it something that you've had to deal with before?
You could say that. You could say that. There was a time the the whys and wherefores don't really matter.
Hmm.
Kind of a long story, but some people that I thought I could trust, people I'd been traveling with for a while,
Mm-hmm.
found out some things, and suddenly I had to move fast. This was out the desert southwest. Not a whole lot of cover unless you know how to look for it, which I
Mm.
did, but I wound up spending a lot of long days lying up in little rock crevices, moving by night.
A sojourner from the land of opportunity.
Yeah, yeah.
It would sound romantic if it didn't also sound so lonely.
Yeah, well, I do better on my own most of the time. Hargrave House is a bit of an exception for me.
I was going to say, no more rocky crevices for you. Now it's a very nice, if a bit gauche, Victorian estate.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I don't want to say homey, but that is kind of what I mean.
Not yet, maybe, but maybe someday,
Maybe someday.
until you have to run. again.
Yeah.
I understand. To be hunted, to be chased, to be set upon. Enjoy the rest while you can.
Yeah.
Conditions?
Let's see.
Which one do you think that you can release?
I think the one that makes most sense for me, oh, come on, why is this not behaving? Is going to be the hackles up
Okay.
because I've sort of settled a bit.
Yeah. Sure. No problem. Take that off. What about you, Felix?
Fully think that Felix is still on Mallory's very short list of persona non grata.
Yes.
But we can say that the strikebreaker was either lost in the maze or stumbled into the opium den and is no longer interested in Felix at the moment.
Okay. That's fine. Perfectly fine. You can take that down. Okay. Now, as according to the vulnerable move rules, I guess, like, not only the two of you, but as a table, you can define a clue that is stumbled upon during this scene as you're, like, kind of relaxing and looking around or taking a toke, whatever. You just cannot have the clue conclusively answer the question whether the vampire is young or old by itself. Like, you can't say, well, I find a journal entry saying he's 5,000 years old. No, you can't do that.
There's a timestamp on
No,
the
there's no
journal
timestamp on it, okay? You can't do that.
It's like the Dracula diary
Yeah,
entry,
no!
but
No!
like just fully compiled.
No, can't.
1000 AD. It's the first day of the rest of my life. It's
Exactly. No,
Okay.
no.
Today I got bit.
The day I started red like in blood. The drachma was invented.
I woke up and felt very vampy. Also, by the way, this historic event just happened. Dating me precisely.
They're just very fastidious. Like,
No.
This is what he does. That would be funnier if you do say that it's a child.
Oh my
Find
God.
a diary that says, I'm 12 years old.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And the war started.
Yeah.
Which war? But anyway, yeah.
so we come up with the clue and
Yes.
then we kind of fit it in. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Like, where do you think that it occurred? So, I mean, you don't have to come up with it now, but I mean, like, something fitting the scene slash, what you think it is, right? So, I mean, this is a clue that you all create yourselves, and it doesn't have to be like, like right now. We can continue on with something else while you're all kind of like agreeing upon what that thing could be. Okay. So,
Sure.
let's go to Jiayi and Mordecai. Would you two be, traipsing around here together or kind of apart? Because basically Jenny Johnston will direct you all, knowing that you're, and I think Jiayi, you'd probably know Jenny, again, like, being like around this neighborhood, knowing that she's, head of this community, and, she'd probably recognize you and then, like, say, yes, we've been keeping these bodies down in the basement over the past few days. We just don't want the authorities involved, especially that nasty Constable Lansing. He gets into everything and doesn't, well, I think you know. Scotland Yard will get involved and he's just going to take it up with his superior. And we don't want that one involved either.
Sorry, that's to Mordecai or to Jiayi?
Jiayi.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think Jiayi just kind of like rolls her eyes, not really playfully, like between playfully and meant when she mentions Lansing. And she's like, yes, yes, of course. No need for authority. We can handle these things by ourselves, can't we?
Because Lansing is basically like the bloodhound version of a cop, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So where
Mhm.
DI Pettigrew is like I've got a nose for detail kind of crap. I mean, like, Lansing is the bloodhound, like I'm gonna sniff out trouble
Mm-hmm.
version of the police force in this neighborhood. So yeah,
Ah, yes, a man who thinks he's a hunter.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, you're all familiar with him.
Mhm.
Annoying.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah. Hmm.
and
Interesting.
she tells you all that she has the bodies in the basement.
Mhm. I like the basement.
Why am I not surprised? So,
Not as much. So. I have a parasol and a white hat, so it should be fine.
I mean, whomever wants to see the bodies, I mean, like, she'll direct her nephews to show you where the bodies are, and yeah, I mean, you can investigate everywhere else. I mean, the sex worker was found in a dark corner of the opium den. The mother was found in an alleyway behind the Limehouse school, and the Chinese sailor was found outside of the Dog and Whistle pub by the dock. So she'll let you know like where they were each found.
Mhm.
Okay. Where would you like to go next? Or would Jiayi and Mordecai like to have a scene first?
Um,
I'm fine
maybe,
either way.
yeah, me too. But maybe when Jenny leaves us to our own devices,
Mhm.
I will turn to Jiayi and say, what was the cop's name? Sorry, I missed that.
Lansing.
Lansing. This Lansing might make an interesting sort of prey, don't you think?
However, do you mean?
People like that fancy themselves, so they fancy themselves hounds. Personally, I don't hold much with hounds. They're too easily distracted, but also they can be led astray quite easily, and that, well, doesn't that seem interesting? I mean, you don't have to hunt someone to extinction, just for fun.
I don't see what's so fun about that. If you, as you say, it is easy.
The hard part here is to make him show everybody that he's nothing but a yapping little dog. There's a little challenge there, wouldn't you say?
Big.
But if you're not interested in these things, I will apologize.
Oh no. Hmm. Well, let me phrase it like that, like this. I'm not interested in Constable Lansing. As you say, he is but a small man with small opinions.
Yes, indeed, indeed. It is
But
just
you, and she will, I think, like she had sort of like her elbows leaned on, on the counter, and she says, but you,
me.
yes, you
Flings back.
are interesting.
I know. I am also not prey.
Aren't you?
I am not. Are you?
No. Are you the big bad hunter? Are you the wolf?
I am nothing like a wolf.
Then what are you?
I am man.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, the
Do,
biggest hunter of them all, man.
do you think that is not so?
She just kind of does that little private smile to herself and she says, well, let's find out.
Yes, let's. I'd love to.
I've always wondered. You have the wolves, but you have something that makes them howl at the moon. Maybe that's what you are.
The moon. I am not the moon.
No, you're the
No.
howling.
I will accept that.
Very well. And I think she kind of does that thing where she like skips away. Like she'll just, when she's done with a conversation, she'll just like skip away sometimes.
Yes. Yes. And he looks after her like, interesting. I probably shouldn't do that.
Was this a vulnerable move? What's going
I
on?
don't, I
Flaunting?
don't know.
I feel like it was
Okay,
Mordecai
okay.
admitting that he wants to, for no reason,
Yeah.
bring down a cop. That feels to me like admitting something about yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
oh,
was
definitely.
interesting. I'm like, whoa, amazing. Okay.
I mean, this is my vice, right?
Yeah, serious. Wow, amazing. Okay.
Yeah, and I think like both of them sort of having that moment of something's going on with you. I feel like they don't
Yeah.
need to like fully spill their whole hearts every
No.
time
No.
we do a yeah.
No, but
I like the tone of this, like flirty or aggressive or it's hard to say.
I
Yeah.
don't do vulnerable moves, I only do fight moves.
Very
well, I
will
was
they,
like,
won't they?
serious, like flirting or hunting or flunting. I don't know what this was. But anyway, conditions?
Flunting for real.
Flunting. Okay.
I'm gonna say curiosity piqued because I have just whoop. I have found something new to be interested in.
Oh,
I'm fascinated. I'm like, what? What's going on?
Yeah, and I don't know if I lose the eye of the forest.
That is up to
from
you. I
that.
mean, if you don't feel that you've addressed it enough,
No.
you're welcome to keep it.
I think I like it. Maybe I can use it.
Okay.
I mean, eye of the forest. Come
Use
on,
it.
forest. Come on,
Sure.
forest. You're not. I
I
have
mean,
my eye on you as well.
if
So yeah, that might lose me the condition though, right? Because I know now that I have my eye on the forest, forest has the eyes on me. It's the same as with Jiayi. Like
Okay.
it's
Okay.
cool.
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead and yep, take it off. Okay. Okay then. Echoes in the day. Yes, right.
the best campaigns is when you just start doing echoes in a day. It's like
Seriously.
we cannot be stopped. We're doing parallels.
Oh, and then and again, of course, because I forgot, because I'm a dork. Like take a look at your elective dawn questions and just make sure that they are kind of what you're aiming for. Remember, dawn questions are your role play opportunities that you're aiming for to get experience for advancement later on. Okay, and you have the whole cycle, day through nighttime, to try to hit those. Alrighty, so given that, now then
We also get to make up a clue.
yeah, you do. So again, like put that TBD into yeah, that particular threat to try to create one as a table, And I'm okay with if you want to put your thumb on the scale later for what's appropriate to the scene, to say we stumble upon this, and it makes sense for what we find. It's perfectly fine to do that. Okay. All right, so everybody's here at the opium den. How do you want to investigate now that you're all here?
I mean, honestly, given what Mordecai and Jiayi just said, I think I want to bait Lansing.
Oh my
So
God.
Mordecai can do something to him. But like to bring it back to the investigation, I guess I want to bait him and like either get him to reveal something. Like not in the opium den, I think,
Yeah,
unless he's like already around for something else. But I basically kind of want to give Mordecai that opportunity.
he's not aware of the exsanguinated bodies right
Okay.
now, but he senses there is something wrong in Limehouse because he's got a nose for trouble, as he says. So, yeah. If you guys want to try to pull something on him, you're going to have to do it away from the opium den right now.
Okay. Well, in that case, since I'm here, I think we know it's a vampire. So I think I would basically like to investigate if I can find traces here of the vampire.
Okay. All right. Sure. Basically,
Or I guess talk to does Jenny, because like we know Jenny's side, but do we know about other people that that are connected to the victims?
Let's see. You have Charla Bell was a young mother, so she does have a husband. There is the pub owner of the Dog and Whistle. There is a regular over at the Dog and Whistle, and there is a sailor who is connected with Zhao Donghai, so over at the docks. And of
Okay.
course, there's people over at the Limehouse School that know Charla Bell, and children at the Limehouse School, of course. And of
Um,
course, friends over at the Opium Den.
yeah, I want to talk to him. Do I look around and see someone in a certain masks?
Well, once you get past like Felix in all of his finery, maybe you
I'm
see
used to that, whatever.
maybe you see the shine, maybe you see the shine of someone in a gold smoking jacket and yellow silk pants and gold slippers, and the shine of something in a dull gold helmet mask. But a darker corner, because the clouds of opium are just rampant here, of course. So it's kind of like tough to see, but you do see the gleam of the helmet mask, like deep
Yeah.
in a back corner.
We can switch focus if we want to, but I do think that like as I sort of skip away from Mordecai, leaving him to think about what the fuck that was, I see something else that I think it's like very much like a little bit of an ADHD vibe that Jiayi sometimes has, where she's like, oh, interesting, 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 and she
Shiny.
has like a hard time keeping like I think she focus switches a lot in this world because it's like hard for her to grasp what it is. And I think, yeah, like having walked away from Mordecai, I see that person. And it's like, you're not behaving like the other humans are. And
I'm gonna
that
say
is interesting.
I'm gonna say this though. For you, Jiayi, this gleam seems more real to you than anything else here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that is very interesting.
Yeah. Where is everybody else?
I think I would like to talk to Jenny.
Okay. Felix and Ellie.
Probably willing to ask around the den after Sop Jimmy.
Okay. Ellie.
I think uh I'm starting from the den, but I think I've kind of had my fill of that atmosphere for the moment. I think I'm going to head over toward the school.
Okay. So let's go over to Mordecai talking with Jenny. And yeah. So yeah, she's wearing a dark taffeta gown, pretty but faded. She's got a soothing disposition as she's directing people, and she will, greet you after you're, you know, talking with Jiayi and just kind of making your way around and such. Um, she's looking at you very seriously, and you know, yes. How can I help you? Help us.
I have a few questions about these spaces. I am not hugely familiar with this part of London.
People turn up their noses up at East London, but all I see is opportunity.
Well, I will turn up my nose at almost everybody, so that's don't feel like especially slighted by that. But my question would be here, since we've talked about these happenings, it seems like somebody very small was committing these killings. And I wonder if you had ever seen anything like that. Like a lone child wandering where it did not seem to belong. I know that there are urchins and things like these, and might be easy to lose yourself among them. However, I feel that often people, even people who are not versed in the supernatural, people have instincts. They are mostly hidden, and people will tell themselves that these are superstitions or it was nothing, something like that, anything like that. But I would ask you if you can think of something like this, if you have ever felt something like this.
Information
About,
move, please.
yes, thank you.
With reason.
With what?
Reason, I would
Presence?
imagine. Well, I
Okay.
mean, like if you want to use presence because you're talking with her, sure, but I'll also accept reason because you're
No, this I
giving her
think this has to,
parameters.
yeah, but this has to be presence because I don't want her to think with reason right now.
Got it?
Because this is gut instinct that I'm trying to get her to yeah, to get her to, anyway, you know what I mean.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. Not raise. That's the next card. I'm not supposed to raise that. I have an 8.
Okay.
Cool. Love
All
it.
right. It is funny that you should say that. I mean, this hadn't happened to me exactly, but someone had come to me very recently and said that there was I couldn't countenance it. And I thought they were hallucinating, but they said that a small, childlike voice was coming from the shadows and castigating them for indulging.
That's an interesting thing to do. So this might actually be someone who thinks that people are wasting their lives, the lives they cannot have. Well, interesting. Thank you.
That's what
That
I
is very,
thought. I thought it was interesting too. Why? Or maybe I thought it was their own personal guilt for indulging.
oh, that might also be, but in my experience, your own personal guilt rarely comes in a little child's voice.
Yes.
Of course, that might be different for me. Anyway, yes, I will tell you to be careful, but honestly, I think you already are. But you might want to put up the usual precautions against vampires that are known. Are you familiar with these? Not come. Let me show you what you can do to at least keep this place safe. Then I will lead her away to put up religious stuff and some garlic or whatever, what have you, right? And this is more to keep her busy and give her the impression that she can do things, because we don't need her to freak out.
Right, exactly. But I think, hold on. I think, as you're getting these things done with Jenny to keep her busy and kind of keep her, calm and get things done, you start to feel and hear your own heartbeat louder than your entities, louder than anything that you've ever experienced before. What does that do for you, Mordecai?
That feels very invasive because I'm used to being invaded by my entities, but something else, this is not supposed to happen.
Right.
Yeah,
How do you
that
feel?
freaks me out.
Your condition is palpitating heart.
Yeah, cool.
Jiayi, that gleam of the sun mask, which is very real, in that back corner. He's lounging. I mean, those pajamas are like stretched out over like a bunch of cushions. And like, you know, you see like rings popping into the air. And smoke in the pipe.
Yeah, I love to imagine that we sort of get like that this is an important person profile shot of him,
Yep.
right? And he's doing like his very cool, oh, I'm above it all, I'm aloof, opium smoking. And I would just like see Jiayi just like whoop, just kind of like thud, like throwing herself right next to him.
In front of him
over,
or like next to him, like on
next to him.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Like we're like sort of together on the cushions, like next to him.
Yeah, he's facing the wall. So I mean like his back is to everybody else in the back corner. Yeah. So and he just continues to blow some smoke as you just like kind of like plop next to him on the cushions.
Does that do anything for you? I mean, in particular.
I would say that it helps me see the worlds beyond this one. Except, I think you already know that, don't you, little one?
I think there are many worlds, although not everyone can see them, and some people that can wish they didn't.
Worlds beyond worlds. Sun is new. Blood is old. Things are great and terrible. But perhaps you didn't come to find out about those.
Oh no, I already know that the forest speaks in the bones of time.
Smoke?
I've never tried. Let's start now. And I think she will take it from him to try and then make a face. I think she hates it. It's like, oh, what is this? No.
Yeah, I mean, it's
very much like girly tries her first cigarette, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's gonna affect you differently than anybody else, I'm sure. So, for sure.
But I think she gives it back and says, well, if you see so many things, why don't you tell me a story about blood, old or young, but gone in any case?
I have seen worlds upon worlds with all my eyes, awful and beautiful, terrible and bloody, and everything wonderful in between. But what specific thing would you like to know, little one? If the smoke doesn't give you the window into that soul.
No, it mostly just gives me a headache. I would like to know about the small thing, the child that is perhaps not a child, that has been taken what does not belong to them.
Go ahead and make an information move. But this case, it's sensitivity because it's him.
I'm so tempted to use my hypnotic killer on him.
Oh my god! Oh my god. Oh
but
my god.
I do want to check with everyone.
Disaster. Wait a second,
like,
I gotta look at this
right
move.
now in like this scene. Because we just had a vulnerable move, but I want to check if people would be okay with that.
Hold on, let me look at the move. Holy shit.
Basically, they become my lover. And then I can do vulnerable scenes with them. But they also become obsessed with me, and if I don't go to them, they're gonna lose their fucking minds. But that was the
Do you
move that
want
I
the sun and
promised
the
to.
man
That's what I was gonna say. Like, go for it. I wasn't gonna make this dude a follower, but I mean, you want this guy to become obsessed with you?
Yeah, that's so funny.
You guys are horrific and I love it.
I think it's a delightfully terrible idea.
What?
It's so delight.
What
But
does
wait. Hypnotic allure can
permanently
only be used at nighttime though. According to
Oh
the
yeah,
way
yeah,
it's marked.
I'm not gonna do it like in
Yeah,
this
yeah.
particular
Okay.
scene. I was more like if that's the route that I go, are people okay with it?
Oh my god. I'm so excited. Oh my
I just
god.
think it's very funny that she has like the perfectly sweet Nora, and she's like, "This guy's fucked up. Let's go."
Oh my god.
Okay, sorry, we were rolling dice before. I was like, "What's the funniest thing I can do right now?"
You're killing me. That's great. Oh my god.
Well, that is an 8. Jesus Christ, I can do maths.
It's okay. You've got a cat butt in the way, so I don't blame you. Okay. All right. With an 8. Tell me about the thing that's taking away what does not belong.
So basically, like anything that he's seen about the vampire.
Oh, sure.
Doesn't
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to
yeah.
be from this world either.
Oh, yeah. No. Absolutely. Oh, this is my favorite clue. So I'm going to give it to you guys. He, of course, like has to take some puffs from his pipe. It's almost as if he needs to take puffs to like bring the visions upon himself to, to answer your question. And as he takes the puffs of smoke, he will breathe it in, and then out from the nostrils of the mask, like it blows out, but then it blows out and then starts to form like a pool. And then this pool starts to coalesce in front of you both and then forms a picture. And you can see this picture as if it's forming like some kind of hologram of, in front of you in the rings that he's already created. And it looks like a pool of half coagulated blood, deep and viscous, in a dark subterranean place. And he says, "There, where it begins, happens, and possibly may end. This is their life and death. But it all, of course, starts with the blood."
She looks at it, and for a moment there's like almost a melancholy look on her face for a moment, and then she like sort of dips her finger in it, perhaps disturbing the image. She says, it used to be the end and the beginnings were clear, and all the worlds, where they used to be, where they should have been. But they cannot help but meddle. And now everything is between, now everything is halves and darknesses and gray. And they blame us. Messes to clean that nobody else wants to.
And when he hears you say that, do you say that just kind of like off the cuff, or do you actually say that with kind of a little bit of sadness?
I think it's like she's sort of saying it to herself, like those kind of like motherings and like melancholy thoughts that like he can hear it and she knows he can hear it, but the words aren't necessarily meant for him. They're like a feeling so deep inside her. It
Mhm.
like needs to come out in words without her like fully thinking about it.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, I think there's like that melancholy, and like she's trying almost instinctively to make it a bit like, oh, I don't care, like very playful, but there is that undercurrent of sadness and I think resentment that
Mhm.
they keep meddling, and then when it goes wrong, when these creatures are forced into worlds that they don't belong into and they do something, then they're evil and the humans get to hunt them down. But for what? Why? They never stop to think maybe they caused it.
And I think you his silence is more of like listening, is like actually listening to you. And when he speaks again, he actually puts down his pipe and he'll say, "Take heart. There are those who will not hunt, who will just be and allow those of us who have no cause, they will allow us to be free."
I think there's a moment of silence on Jiayi's part. And like almost like a fan being flipped open, she puts that smile back on and says, "Oh, don't you worry. I always go for the heart."
He just nods. And then we'll pick up his pipe again and then, like, blow 3 perfect rings into the air.
And I think she'll like pick something up and like try to throw it through it, like throwing a peanut in somebody's mouth.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a
Of
good way
course.
to end the scene.
Perfect. I think for the 8, though, I think, how do you feel after talking with him?
Yeah, I think melancholy or resentful, one of those. Like sort of that like, as I said, like she feels like this creature might not have wanted to be here, and now it's doing something that it cannot help because that's its nature, and we have to hunt it down because the humans decided that we have to hunt it down. And I think there's sort of like that realization where she might not necessarily be on the side of the humans or the hunters here and has a bit of a different opinion on it.
Mm-hmm. I think your condition is more like, maybe on the side of the hunted? Question mark.
Sure.
Yeah. I was going to do
Or
something
maybe
like,
for the, yeah, for like the themes of the session, could it just be like a hunter question mark?
yeah, yeah,
Oh.
yeah, go for that. I like it. Okay, cool. Okay. We are back, and Felix wanted to go and research or look into somebody that knew Soft Jimmy. And
Yeah.
Soft Jimmy was the sex worker who was found in a dark corner of the opium den itself. Yeah. So,
Because Jenny's made a point of like there's a community
yeah.
here, and Soft Jimmy was a member of that community.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to go around and just see what sort of community she's leading. What is she trying to build here? She said she's a woman who sees opportunity. So let's see what that looks like.
Yeah.
And if anyone remembers or cares about what happened to Soft Jimmy.
Oh, yeah. Pardon. Absolutely. So, are you like kind of like going around to talk to the patrons themselves here at the opium den, or like you going outside of the opium den to talk to
Outside to the
folks?
neighborhood and
Okay.
see if anybody's asking around. What is a day in the life in the Limehouse area look like?
Yeah, I think like maybe your footsteps, your very flamboyant footsteps take you over by the Dog and Whistle, for instance, because that seems to be where things are happening at the moment.
All
Um,
right.
yeah, and the Dog and Whistle is a pub of dull brass fixtures, um, predominant stack of tin mugs, like, ready to go for any patrons that come by. And there is a painting of a dog, but for some reason, no whistle. Don't know. Paint the scene. This pub caters to sailors and folk who work at the canal. How do you know this?
I mean, go full Red Lobster. The walls are covered with a bunch of dock working paraphernalia, maybe a bent crane hook, broken nets, just old bits of work equipment that have been repurposed into decor.
And that's paint the scene for everyone.
I think the planks of the floor have smudges of tar and miscellaneous muck, but the tar just it doesn't come off. Other things could be scrubbed away or worn away by the passage of feet, but the tar stains stay.
Not a decor per se, but I think sorry, my brain. It's Ellie who's approaching or Felix? Felix, okay, I'm gonna make your life more difficult. I think as Felix is approaching, the door swings open, and this like rich, like middle class or upper class man who was like kind of was like slumming, was like trying to slum, just gets like two like heavy burly guys just like throw him out. Like there's very much, and like they spit or they say something, and you immediately get the feeling that if you're not a sailor or working class, you are not welcome here. That is not who they want to see after hours. They do not wish to be reminded of the boss.
And I think once you're inside, if you make it inside, if you choose to go inside, you will hear a cacophony of languages, basically. Because these are sailors from all over. You will hear Chinese, you will hear what you might think is English, but sounds a little odd because it's maybe Welsh or spoken by Welsh or Scottish people. There are some Spaniards here. Somebody is speaking what is maybe Dutch or German. I don't know if you're familiar with either language, but yeah. So yeah, lots of different languages.
Yeah, I'm gonna look over this person who was thrown out. Having fun down there, slumming it, rolling around in the mud.
Don't seem to like those that just want a pint. I don't see why not.
Are you owed it?
No, but I've got custom just like anyone else.
Seems like you're selling yourself a bit short, don't you think? Now, let's see that stiff upper lip, that good upper gentry London sort of air.
I mean, he just basically like, sets himself up and then like, dusts himself off and then like, kind of like does that, snapping of his jacket to, just to, put himself into better comportment. Yeah, just, well, they don't seem to need my patronage after all then, I suppose.
It feels like a lost opportunity to me if you're just going to leave at the first shut door. Are you here to have a good time or are you not?
I'm merely here to get a drink.
You could get a drink anywhere. You chose here. The dog and purportedly whistle for a reason.
And he kind of looks back at it and just says, well, I'm sure there's other places here at the docks I can go.
Well, if you want to be a sore loser, fine by me.
And he just kind of gives you a curious look up and down. It's like, well, like you'd have better luck getting in here.
Would you like to make it a wager?
Oh, really? And he just kind of like, looks over his nice kid glove and says, "What are you willing to bet?"
What are you willing to lose?
Oh, a gambler. I like that. And he kind of like reaches into his pocket and pulls out like a, fold of bills. This whole stack.
I slap it out of his hand.
That.
Money means nothing. A wager means nothing if you don't suffer for it. So I ask you again, what are you willing to lose?
He pulls on his cane and like kind of like pulls the money back towards him. Like, who are you to be so disdainful over money?
Look at me. Do you really think that I would have to worry about material wealth? Or are you so lowly that you have to go and scramble for that money that you are willing so easily to give away?
Well, you are pretty, I'll say that much.
What makes you beautiful? What gives you life? What are you willing to lose?
Really? He steeples his hands. I see. A promise then. I don't necessarily have any kind of physical token for it. So I don't know what you would consider a bargaining chip for this wager?
Worry not for whatever the material is. It could be the shine of your eyes. It could be a knack that you have. Whatever you consider unique to you.
A favor
If you
from a
like.
lady.
A favor from a lady. It seems fair. And in return, what is your heart's desire? What would give you the greatest opportunity to profit?
And he gets this really like lascivious smile on his face. Do you really want to know?
I wouldn't be asking otherwise.
And he looks you up and down and says, "A night with you."
And Felix just lets out this belly laugh. You don't know what you're getting yourself into with that.
Now who's drawing back from the wager?
Oh, no, I never said no. So go inside and manage to make friends with the sailors here without getting thrown out so unceremoniously as you were, Mr.
Sorry, I just gotta look up a name because it's like
I'm so sorry, Mads. I did this to you.
Random
I
paint
did
the
this
scene
to you.
NPC becomes relevant.
no, because I mean, like, because I was thinking about it and I'm like, wait, I could tie this back, but then I couldn't remember the name that I wanted. Casing, Morton Casing, if you must know.
Otherwise, how would I find you when you have to pay up your bet? I will go and make friends with the dog and whistle, and they will sing my praises.
We'll see.
And I'm gonna go into the dog and whistle.
So I'm tying this back to the first mystery, so this way it's like we can
Yep.
have some fun. It's fun with this.
Surely the meanest thing we could have done in a game like Demonstrate.
Who's
Oh,
this random NPC? They're relevant now. Let's go.
that's great. That's great. Love it. Oh my gosh, amazing. Okay, so wait, we can roll for this because I want to see how successful you are.
Yeah,
Since
of
you were
course.
so successful the last time that you were trying to do something suave.
Yeah. And
Day move.
Day move. And I am willing to mark Ode to Felix, a set of unique perfumes that were given to me by an admirer so that the scent can waft throughout the dog and whistle.
Oh my god.
So I
You
have
dog.
3 dice.
Okay, wait. Do you still have a condition?
I have a condition.
This
Mother
won't.
Mallory isn't here.
Yeah, she's not here. This
She's
doesn't
not
affect
here.
you.
She doesn't need to worry about this.
This is fine. Okay.
Okay. And then presents, I imagine.
Presents, yes, for sure. And then so with the personal item stuff, then rolling with advantage. Yep.
How do we mark that in the roller?
Oh. So for which dice, you're basically, hold on.
Keep the highest 2 rolls.
Yeah. Hold
Okay.
on. Well, I mean, just go ahead and roll, and then I can take a look at it. Hold on. It helps to actually be in the roller, like a smart person.
I think it gives you an option to keep the 2 highest.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can. You shift from total to high, which is an 11.
Damn. Okay.
I am so tempted to mark a mask just to get a 12.
You
I'll
can
stick-
if you want.
Do it.
You can.
Nah, sure.
Lore.
Yes, I'm going to do that for the sake of lore, to bump it up to a 12.
Oh my god, damn it! Oh my god, amazing. Okay.
So Felix pushes through the door, and we see sailors all about gambling, laughing uproariously, cheering, singing. And as he enters, you see him sort of go to every table and personally make a small comment or a suggestion. Maybe throw of the dice, maybe a light comment, maybe a drink, just a lingering, brief presence there at every table. And we see that, I'm melding the mask in here too, that this isn't the first time. We see Felix in different clothes, in a different bar, in a different tavern, in a different gambling den. We see people rolling dice or playing cards or throwing checkers, and all of them have little superstitions, crossed fingers, blowing on the dice, a quick prayer to this god or the other god. And we see him eventually make his way to the bar, raise a loud cry with a flagon in hand. We don't hear the words, but we see just this echo from this crowd. And we see as this place changes once again, and it's a group of worshipers before a large marble statue that bears a striking similarity. And then we're back here, and everyone is cheering and laughing.
And then maybe we do a cut, like a quick cut, to outside of the dog and whistle, as there's a distinct look of dismay on Morton Casing's face, and he's like looking back at the dog and whistle, and then he's looking kind of like off to the side of the camera, and he's like, oh no, as he hears the ruckus inside. Shit. Oh my god. All right. So yeah, you succeed. You make friends at the dog and whistle. Oh boy. Okay.
And there's a benefit or advantage.
Yes.
Would it be willing to say if I do an information move at the dog or whistle or related to that, I would get advantage?
Yes. If that's what you want, it's I'll say that is your.
As long as we're dealing with the dog and whistle, advantage is good for me.
Yeah, sure. Like if that's what you would like, sure. Okay. So you've made it into the dog and whistle. You now have a favor. Okay, so put this into your personal quarters right now. And this isn't a personal quarters item per se. This is what you get from Morton Casing. And
I'll label it as a wager.
the wager and like, put down next to it a favor from a lady. The lady is Lady Sarah Brookmead.
And then Morton Casing.
Yeah, Morton Casing is
Okay.
and you'll find out who he is when you cash it in.
Okay. And I'll
Because I think he
just-
does give you his card. And you see he's an esquire. He's a financial advisor.
Oh yeah, no, I got this guy's number. And
There it is.
I'll just mark a boon for the dog and whistle advantage.
Yeah. Nope. And what mask are you using since you bumped it up to a 12?
Oh, I used the narrate a flashback to your childhood that shows how, even then, people were willing to suffer in order to make you happy.
Were you going to do that now, or were you going to wait till the end of session?
I was weaving it into people making offerings, cheering, everyone high or low, making a call out for favor, for
Nice.
opportunity, for a chance to make a better life.
Nice. Oh my gosh, amazing. All right, very cool. Okay. Alrighty. So as we take us away from that, Ellie, you've hoofed it, and you're going over to the Limehouse School. Like just going all over the Limehouse neighborhood today.
Yep.
The Limehouse School is actually a workhouse. There's filthy children all over the place. There's a frustrated mistress that you see as you approach, storming away from a group of girls not learning how to sew. And there's the prevalent smell of unwashed bodies as you get closer. Perhaps in your drained state, you're like really smelling it. You're like,
Yeah.
wow, okay. So, paint the scene.
Hard to block it out.
Yeah. Paint the scene. Workhouses like this are where poor children are sent to be managed until they're old enough to be turned out. What signs of deprivation do you see? And this is a paint the
A
scene.
lot of
for
these
fun.
kids don't have shoes.
Yeah.
Or at best, they have kind of crude wrappings for their feet.
They don't have a formal eating space. They have some crusty loaves of bread in a corner and just a large pot with some broken ceramic bowls for soup. Just the most basic gruel to keep them energized and to keep them going.
You overhear some of the stories that these girls not learning how to sew are telling each other. And like what exactly they are isn't that important, I think. But basically, the gist of it is like these stories are brutal and cruel, and you are very much wondering what they either saw or how the adults here are talking to them for them to sort of be modeling this language and like these kind of stories. It doesn't seem like much care is put here in keeping them safe or making the world seem a little nicer.
I think it's the very cautious looks you're getting. These children, they definitely notice you. You're unfamiliar, but they don't react with curiosity. They react with like, they react with calculation. Like, what's this person? Is it going to hurt us, or can we use it somehow? And there are some groups, but there are very small groups like siblings or something, but they are not sitting together. There's little community here with these kids because everybody's out for themselves. They have to be.
And that's what you see as you rock up. I think also too when you see the one mistress like storming away, then you see this fussy little man, um, come out from a different entrance. Um, he's fidgety. He's in a brown three-piece suit, and he's um, starts off like kind of like low sounding, but then it's just like kind of like our children. No, don't touch, don't touch. Calm down, calm down. Uh, Miss Ellie, Miss Ellie. And obviously, he's not talking about you, but he's talking about
Yeah.
somebody else.
Oh, head over to him. Uh, and
As he's got a
kind of,
gaggle of some of the smaller ones, around him, and he's trying not to touch them. It's like he kind of looks up and sees you. Yes, yes. Can I help you?
yeah, yeah. I got a couple of questions for you about double checking the name. Uh, Mrs. Charla Bell?
Oh, yes, she was, one of our, teachers. Look, I barely knew Charla Bell. She did some work with the children here from time to time. No, 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 don't touch, don't touch. Teaching them how to mend and, wash, that sort of thing. But I never sat down and talked with the woman. No, no, don't move that. And, yes, yeah, something happened.
Yeah, she died. Didn't hear
What?
about that?
Oh, I had. Oh, no, 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 that's ridiculous. There was some kind of ridiculous rumor. Someone murdered her and drunk her blood. He's not very quiet about it, and then, like, some of the little ones are like, oh, drunk her blood, murder! And they're all excited about it. They're, like, all starting to talk amongst themselves. It's like, and then they're turning to him and then turning to you, and it's like, was it gory? Was it all over? Did it split? What do you know? What do you know?
I don't know. That's what I want to find out. Maybe one of you heard something or saw something. Do you think anybody here saw something? And I'm
Bet you
just
they did.
ignoring him because he is clearly useless.
Children, get back over there and like get back to your lessons. And then
Hey,
he's
I
trying
am
to get
talking
control.
to them.
Who are you? I don't even know who the. And he was gonna swear, but he's trying to control himself. I am Lawrence Chesterfield. I'm the headmaster here at this school, the Limehouse
My
School.
name is Ellie Fletcher. I'm looking into a murder. I need information. You clearly aren't going to help me. Maybe these kids will. And I'm just getting right up in his face.
See, you don't take long. They need to get back to lessons. And then he's kind of like goes off to chase after like one of the adults that's supposed to be watching the kids. And then the littles that are surrounding you are it's like, so what do you do? What do you know about the murders?
I'm gonna squat down, kind of get down to their level. Well, I see murders all the time. I look into murders. I find out who killed people, and I make sure that they get stopped.
Oh, do you murder
know,
them too?
I don't murder them. I'm not saying I don't kill them,
And like
but
they moan like, no.
but they get stopped, and the bobbies never stop them. Not in places
No.
like this.
No, they don't.
Maybe in big knobby places.
Yeah.
Not here. But the only way I can stop people from getting murdered is if I find out what happened. And I know that kids see things and hear things that they don't tell grown-ups.
They seen a vampire? One of the boys will pipe up.
I'd like to hear anything anybody's heard or seen about a vampire.
We don't do nothing for free.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, you gotta take care of yourself.
What you got?
I probably have some change at least. Uh, I'm not a wealthy person at this point in my life, but compared to
You
these
got some
kids I am.
candy? You got some sweets?
You know,
Sweeties?
you know what? I do. I have a little bag of humbugs here.
Humbugs. Oh.
Yeah. And I will give humbugs to anyone who can tell me anything useful. Anything they've heard, anything they've seen about a vampire. Or about what happened to Mrs. Bell.
Okay. Information move, please. With presence.
Yep. Okay. So, double checking. I believe that's +1. Come on. Okay.
What is it?
6.
What? Oh no! Fuck. Crab-a-doodle-doo.
I may have just given humbugs away for complete garbage.
Shredded.
Because I'm not gonna take a mask for this. I'm just gonna accept the loss on this one.
Yeah, let's see. I think, hold on, let me think a minute, like how I want to handle this, because there's a couple different ways I want to handle this, and I'm trying to think of like the one that I want to use. I think some of the adults will start to come over and then start to take the little kitties away, but not before they have hidden the humbugs away or stuffed them already in their mouths, right? And they hadn't told you anything yet. But then, like, one of the ones that had looked at you with a calculating air, like, tries to give you a message, and says, "Hey, you want to go down that particular alleyway down there? That's where the vampire was seen last." And like, kind of like indicates with a jut of their head, like, of that particular alleyway that's looking particularly dark, particularly shadowy, and is in the opposite direction that they're being taken now.
Okay.
Again, particularly dark, particularly shadowy.
That's where I'm going.
When you go down this alleyway, though, it is a dead end. And you notice that it is very dark down here. And when you look behind you, there is just a single slash of light to remind you it is daytime. And then when you look back, it is exceptionally dark, even for you. And you feel like you're not alone anymore. Night move, please.
Ooh.
So, the way this works is for a night move, you will be snatched up in the air.
This is becoming a theme for me.
And you will, sorry, you need to tell me what what will happen if you fail or lose your nerve with this night move. Vitality or composure, whatever you want to try to roll with. And I tell you how much worse it's going to be.
Okay. I'm afraid that it's going to be a dangerous mundane threat. Basically that I'm going to get mugged and just robbed.
The way it's worse is that they were looking at you with a calculating air, and they don't trust any grown-ups. So, and they didn't like the fact, like the older ones didn't like the fact that you were trying to bribe the little ones. So, they wanted the vampire to take you out. And so the vampire is in this nice dark little corner, and the vampire will probably try to tear you apart.
Okay.
Being alone. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to roll with vitality.
Okay.
And I cannot believe that was a 6 again.
Oh, Ellie.
The dice really hate me.
Mask time?
Yeah, I think.
I mean, if you want to hear what's going to happen to you, I'm welcome to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, do tell me. But
I think, yeah, in this darkness, you hear the titter of a child's laugh. And, I mean, obviously it doesn't feel anything like the forest as it did last night. And you're so goddamn tired. You're just like, what the hell? And then you feel yourself being lifted, not by your leg this time, but like your underneath your shoulders. You feel as if somebody's like picking you up in this darkness, and you hear the titter of the child's laugh like right in your ear, and it's just saying something like, "You should have left well enough alone." And as this is happening, you feel like the crunch of something like tearing out your ear as the hands underneath your arms pulling you apart. And yeah.
This is definitely mask time. Let's see.
So 7 to 9 for the night move. Okay. So
Yeah.
this does not happen.
Yeah. I'm just figuring which mask I'm gonna take. I mean, I know I don't have to narrate it now, but I want to decide now.
Yep, that's fine.
Let's see. I think I'm gonna mark Mask of the Past, flashback to your youth showing what an arrogant, willful brat you were.
Yeah, all the masks of the past have to be done in order.
Yes.
So yes, that's the next one, yes. Okay.
Yep.
All right, and again, you don't have to do that right now. You can wait until the end of session or till next time, whatever, whenever you have it ready. Just don't wait until like 3 sessions from now, because we're going to forget. So.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
I do appreciate that there are separate checkboxes on the character keeper for
did you narrate or
mask
not?
marked and have you narrated?
Yeah, good reminders, because God knows we need them. You are now at 7 to 9, so yes, you do succeed in preventing the tearing apart from happening. Please tell us how this goes.
I think as I feel the hands on me, I just twist around rapidly and throw my weight to sort of fling that figure against a wall, which I know isn't going to stop it, but its mass is enough less than mine that I was able to toss it aside and just run for it. Okay. Just bolt back to the sunshine.
Yeah. I think as you fling it into the wall, I mean, you hear that hiss, and it's like so close, because it's like you feel like this presence trying to grab at you in the darkness, and like you almost feel like it's clutching for your coat, like, clutching for your, like, maybe your hat or your hair. And then, like, just as you make it into the sunlight, you hear the, like, not the hiss from the creature, but you hear the hiss as if it's burning. And then, like, a cry as if, it had to retreat because of the burn. And you tumble out into the sunlight again, as as weak as it is and as dim as it is. And maybe you see like some peeking heads of the kids that are still kind of outside, and they kind of look like deadpan at you before they retreat inside.
Okay, okay. Those little brats lost all the sympathy I might have had for them. Try to get me eaten. No. It's dumped back to Hargrave House in a very bad mood.
Exactly. So sorry. Oh God. Ugh. And I am so sorry. Wanted to address that mechanical question that you had, Jazy. Um, so at least we had it on recording, so just in case we needed to take notes. Which was it?
I wanted to ask if it's like if the vulnerable move clues that we have to make, do they have to pertain to the lurker, or is it fine if we make them for the a Little Blackbirds Inn? Because we only have 2 more night phases left to deal with that, and we haven't investigated today.
I
Or do
mean,
you?
me personally, I mean, I don't care whether you have them for either or, you know. I mean, I'm okay if you have them for whichever you choose. I think it's more fitting if you have them appropriate to the threat that you're actually in, but if you have a vulnerable scene at Hargrave House, you can pick and choose. So, I'm okay with you picking and choosing. So, yeah, decide if you want to have it like one for both or like one for each or like, whatever.
Mhm.
Pick and choose whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, because like Jiayi's and Mordecai's conversation was like scary things that lurk in the woods and
Yeah,
wolves and howling at the moon. So I think we could just as well say like something in that conversation made us go like, wait, hold up, actually, rather than oh, we are physically in Jenny Johnston's opium den, so we
I like
see
it.
something there. Yeah.
That's perfectly reasonable. I like that a lot. So go ahead and like, put that into Little Blackbirds if you want to apply that and put your thumb
Still,
on the scale for it.
still need to make up the clue though.
Yes, yeah, that's fine. But
I had
TBD,
an
yeah,
yeah, okay, I had an idea for the other one, but I'll probably can think of one for this one too
yeah.
from that
And then just discuss
conversation.
discuss as a table like what you'd like
Yeah.
to see for those particular clues, like for whichever threat you want to apply them to you from the vulnerable moves for sure. Okay. Um, and yeah. I mean, again, whatever you think you can the clue can be whatever you think will be able to help your eventual theory for the resolution or for whatever answers the question, right? But it just cannot conclusively answer the specific question that's being asked. Okay. So, yeah. Alrighty. Anything anybody else wants to kind of wrap up in this particular session? I don't want to like, start another round of like investigation necessarily for this session because then that could like, put us over and I don't want to put us over. I want to leave time for uh, stars and wishes and such. Um,
Yeah,
and I
I
go
have
ahead.
a tiny thing
Yeah, go ahead.
that we don't have to have a full scene about this, but eventually, at some point during the day, you might see Mordecai write a note
Mhm.
and leave that somewhere where the Inspector Lansing can find it. And as Inspector Lansing reads it, he goes like, "Aha! I knew it." So yeah,
The
just
clues are falling together.
yeah, yeah, just setting a little trap.
Oh my God. Is this for
Mhm.
night phase?
No, this is just for fun.
Okay.
This is just following Mordecai's advice a little.
Oh no. Wait, are you setting up red herrings for Constable
Yeah,
Lansing?
of
Oh my
course I
God, that's
am.
hilarious. I love it.
Yeah, I'm leading him down by the nose a road he won't get out of as easily as he thinks he would.
Oh my gosh, amazing. That's great. I love those cutscenes. Okay. Um, anything Jiayi wants to do at the opium den, or does she want to head back to Hargrave?
I mean, I feel like that's gonna depend on all what we do on the like during the night phase. So I don't want to like shoot like I don't want to cut that off by saying I'm gonna be in Hargrave House and
Okay.
then
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
everybody's going to the inn.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Um, Felix, with your particular, like, triumphant reception over at the Dog and Whistle,
Mm-hmm.
do you go back out and deal with Mr. Casing? Or call or cash in, per se?
What do you mean? I welcome in Mr. Casing to my new friends. If I'm going to collect, I want Mr. Casing to be well aware that I'm surrounded by friends, friends who most recently did not care for him. So he better pay up and remain in my good graces.
And he just sighs and just he gets a pissed off look on his face and then says, "Fine. Do you win this wager?"
Tell me what you know of Little Blackbirds. Sing me a song. Casing.
And he slides a card over to you. This is his widow, Lady Sarah Brookmead. No, you know what? No, I'm gonna just give this to you.
Okay.
He basically looks reluctant to tell you this, but then he just eventually admits because of the wager. She goes there too.
Ah, the Lord and Lady shared a vice.
He didn't know.
Oh. Very juicy. And how do you fit into this, Morton?
I was supposed to go that night.
I see.
He wanted company. I didn't want to go.
He wanted your company that night.
No. You go there because you want certain company, and sometimes you will appreciate friends being companionable with you as well.
I see. Then one more question, Morton. I asked you what made you beautiful. What was most precious to you? And you offered up Lady Brookmead. Why was that? Of all the things that you can do, of all the possessions you have, of the life you have led, why is the favor of a recent widow your most precious thing?
Isn't it enough that you won?
There is silence in the Dog and Whistle, and everyone is turned and watching. And you see that somehow Felix is in the center of the bar, and Morton feels alone. No, Milton. I asked what made you beautiful, and you said her favor. And a wager is a wager, isn't it? So pay up. And I can roll if you'd like that. It's like
Yeah, sure. I'm just trying to think of specifically what this is, right? I mean, like, you're trying to exert control.
presence.
Yeah.
Like oh,
Yeah, I'm trying to think of, like, is this a dame to get him to kowtow underneath your presence, or Is this a specific move unto you? That's the question. Because I'm gonna make you scar your reflection for this. Though, guaranteed.
Oh,
I want to see this reflection. God damn
you
it!
want to see this reflection? Okay.
Yes. A day move, yeah. Because let's
Day
make this
move?
fun. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's
All
make this
right.
fun.
And because I'm in the dog and whistle and sort of the peer pressure is their
Yeah.
advantage?
Yeah. I'll say that. Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds cool.
No.
What did you get? I'm not seeing this on Witch Dice. I don't know
got
what broke.
6 with advantage.
I don't know what's broken. Fuck all if I know
A
what's
1
broken.
and then 2 2s.
Okay, so let's put it this way.
Yeah, what happens with this complete miss with peer pressure? Trying to drag out this most precious of secrets from this guy.
I know exactly what it is.
All right.
You are trying to be your most you of you, your most essence. I can't even explain it. Like, your most undeniable, right?
Yeah.
But I think you're feeling the pressure yourself from something outside of you. Something calling to you from little blackbirds. Something that sounds crackly and dry and old. What's the matter, Felix? Are you trying to get answers about beauty when your beauty is old and ancient like me?
Mm-hmm.
And perhaps
then-
this shatters your concentration a little bit.
And then there would be a condition, I imagine.
Well, yes. Scarring your reflection for sure. Regardless, but I think also too, it's like, I think, I think you see a vision, but I'll give that to you in a second. I want to. There's like so many things going on right now that I think it's gonna get creepy. If you want to go run with it, if you don't want to run with it, you're gonna have to use a mask.
What if we bridge the gap?
Okay.
Let's negotiate. What if I mark the gilded door? So you still get your something is paying attention to Felix. I get something that isn't a complete miss. So we can have the best of both worlds.
So basically most beloved, huh?
Just like a thing. Just a permanent condition that I'll be stuck with until I take a particular move. Like
oh, you jerk. Yes, I forgot about that. Yes, undeniable, you jerk. The undeniable is the only one that can wipe most beloved at some point.
So what if we bridge the gap that way, where you still get to give me a vision, something is paying attention?
Sure.
Okay, so I will mark the gilded door, take most beloved, increase my presence by 1. No, I'm not a fan of whatever that hedge maze is looking to invade. No, thank you.
Oh, your pretty reflection, just not wanting to get twisted up. Oh
no, we could still I'm still doing a bad thing by dragging it out of this guy, so I can scar my reflection if you'd like.
Oh yes, I definitely want to see the scarring of the reflection, so you mark that off, and then we want to know what the reflection is, like what it looks like and all this fun stuff, for sure, before we end. But then I'm gonna give you a vision of what this looks like, for sure.
Okay. And as an aside, for that, no, we weren't doing an information move before, but we're doing an information move now.
In a way it is, because I mean, you're trying to put pressure on this guy to give you an answer for what is beauty, like why this means so much to him. Yeah, for sure. So.
Okay. So how would you like to proceed?
I would like to know first what the reflection looks like, and then
Mhm.
how you scar it.
Sure. We pan away from the dog and whistle,
Mm-hmm.
and we go underground to the deeper parts of London, where it used to be called Londinium. And we see a small hidden underground tavern. There's a great hearth that roars in the center of the place, the air thick with spiced mead, roasting game. The decor is a mishmash of opportunistic decor. The mast of a shipwreck, stones from an abandoned church, all sorts of carpets and tapestries secured from a raided estate. There are people raising toasts, gambling, the same sort of thing that we saw in the Dog and Whistle a little while ago. And in the center, we see a tapestry woven with silk and gold thread. The patterns seem to shift in the flickering firelight. At the heart of this tapestry is a boyish and beautiful figure. Gosh, that looks really familiar. In a flowing green robe, arms outstretched in welcome. There's a single blonde lock of golden hair that falls across his forehead, his eyes gleaming with a little bit of mischief. And from his hands tumble gifts, gold, jewels, letters of favor, those sorts of things. And all around at his feet, atop a pile of other accumulated wealth, are followers, people who come to ask to get their heart's desire. We see beggars, an aristocrat, a merchant, a sailor, a soldier. Some of them get their heart's desire and hold it close, happy that they've been fulfilled with this little bit of material wealth. We see others with their wealth falling away as they try to grasp just a little bit too much, and they're stumbling. One of those faces shifts to our poor, forget his name. His name doesn't matter. His face is on the tapestry now, as he's stumbling, as he has loose footing, and as we see shapes of other people trying to climb atop this pile of wealth for their opportunity at prosperity.
Yeah, I think Morton Casing will slide out of the off of the bar stool and muddy his his trouser legs yet again, and this time he's despairing because he really knows he lost since he gave you his lady's favor, um, gave you her name, and you know let you know about her, and he says to you with his eyes wide with tears, "It's her. She is the one that's worth it. Fuck all to him. He's neglected her all that time. She's the one. She's the one that makes one feel like it's all beautiful in the end. No, it's gone. You
Is
have it.
it? And Felix will lift up his chin with his foot. The way you describe it, it sounds like a wonderful opportunity for you. The Lord is gone. Surely you can take this opportunity to make a new life with her. Couldn't you?
I could. I could.
And Felix will lean down. I could help you with that. And I think we fade there as Felix maybe gets a new worshiper.
Oh boy. How do you say? Well, I mean, you don't have giveth yet, right?
No, that's why I'm saying maybe. Like this is
Okay.
this is how Felix does things.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. Nice. All right. Awesome. Very cool. That's how we close. I love it. All right. So,
Should I narrate my
if
my
you
mask now?
if you have it ready, just remind us of
Yeah.
the prompt and then go ahead and narrate.
Yep. The prompt is uh, uh narrate a flashback to your youth showing what an arrogant, willful brat you were. Uh we saw the schoolroom of this house before. Uh Now we are seeing the parlor. Well appointed, uh with heavy velvet drapes and beautiful, richly carved wood furniture. But at the moment, the parlor is not the scene of serenity that it should be. Uh, as a matter of fact, what we see is Ellie standing over uh, her governess, the same woman we saw in the schoolroom before. It's a few years later now, and it's clear from the now scattered tools around the room that this was a needlework lesson. And Ellie has flung down the embroidery frame that was in her hand and is looming over the governess as I said, "No, you don't get to talk to me like that. I don't care what my stitches look like. I am never going to put needle to cloth again when nobody's making me do it. So I don't care if my stitches are uneven or are messy. And you know what? If you try to tell my father about this, if you try to complain that I've been rude, two can play at that game. Two can tell things that he's not going to want to hear. Do you want me to tell him things? Because I will. And Ellie sits back down, does not pick up the the embroidery again, picks up a book, and just blatantly sits back to read as the governess is trapped between anger and fear.
Damn. Okay. Alrighty. So we end this session, and we're probably going to be picking up with a little bit more day phase for next time, and then probably going right into dusk and then some night. Okay? So, stars and wishes. Stars are things that you liked about the session, each other, gameplay, roleplay, and then wishes are what you'd like to see for next time or the future. So please, whomever would like to start.
I can start. Stars all around. This was a great session. I really love these characters. I especially love the vulnerable scenes between Ellie and Felix. Like Ellie, like reluctantly, I guess, opening up at least a little. But I think Felix is quite used to people opening up to him, right? Yeah, and I also love the scene between Mordecai and Jiayi because I felt like this needs a follow up eventually. I mean, this can't stand like that. I love the dynamics we have there. I also like the way the mystery progressed. I really loved Felix putting it to this random NPC walking by. The poor guy. I mean, I felt for him a little. Yeah. And I also felt for Ellie, like trying to manipulate these orphans with humbugs. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, okay, fine. This was all a lot of fun, and I also like the idea of going back to the other mystery, the forest mystery, that's my thinking. So this is my wish for next time. I wish to go back to the forest thing because yay, because vampires, come on, it's kind of boring, right? I mean, who hasn't hunted a vampire before? Anyway, yeah, so that's one of my wishes. I also would like to have a scene with Felix in the future, just to see these two like stare at each other, go off on each other, because I feel that might be really fun. Yeah, so thank you.
I also liked Ellie negotiating with these bloodthirsty kids, just kind of latching on to like, oh, was there blood? It's like, oh yeah, there was a ton. I'd love to tell you details, but I'm on the job now. Like, that was fun. Mordecai just being very, very plain and talking with Jenny, was it, about no, it's not that I'm looking down on just you. I look down on everyone. It's who I am. Just you're with it or you're not. Also coming down and being taken aback that somebody just is sitting in the kitchen when we have a parlor for professional inquiries. And just rolling with it was very nice. And then Jiayi, the fact that you were considering the man in the sun mask as like, but like I had this other lady, but this guy's messed up. Like, it'd be really good to have him as a lover. Like, maybe that was really fun to see, especially with the riddles going back and forth. They really had a connection there. And then Mads, I'm so sorry for just turning this random NPC into like, this is the guy I'm gonna inquire to, and forcing you to think on your feet, and then you looped it in with the previous mystery. That was like really good. And just playing off of that and developing it into that anguished confession at the end was really nice. And then finally, for everyone, the parallelism in the vulnerable scenes, somebody had mentioned it earlier, the fact that we were focusing a lot on hunting and pursuing and being pursued, and that was just like a nice little echo. So yeah, I am looking forward to just continuing to be Felix, to seeing how I eventually participate in a night phase. I don't think I'll be around in the next session, but I'm looking forward to eventually facing off against the bad guys someday.
Yeah, I can go. Stars. Yeah, I loved Mordecai just being on site for Lansing. I thought that was pretty funny. Just like, I hate this dude. I want to ruin his life. And I thought that conversation about like, I'm not much for hounds because they're easy, but I'm still gonna do it. Like, I'm still gonna hunt him. It's still funny. I thought that was interesting. Um, I love the little details that you're giving us with like him not liking the sun and needing a parasol, and I'm sure there's nothing going on there. Just pale because sometimes people are just pale, you know. It happens. Yeah, Kathleen, I love that we got to see Ellie's like the glimpses of that spoiled like like that spoiled child that had so much power. I feel like this session really we saw that like crack through the very like um more like taciturn, more laid back behavior. Like the way you spoke to that teacher was like the headmaster was very much like how you spoke to that teacher when you were a child. Like just the absolute aggression of like, no, I'm talking to these children now. Like this isn't for you anymore. Which was like very much like, oh yeah, this is a rich kid thinking they can just barge in anywhere they want to, and they're now the most important person in the room because they're entitled to everybody's attention all the time. And it was like the first one was like, please, which I thought was very interesting. Um, to sort of see that after we've seen her be so like kind and gentle to other people, very interesting to peel back the layers. And I like that we got masks, always very fun. And for Felix, yeah, I love that you were just like random NPC. They're relevant now. This is a thing I'm gonna investigate now. Um, I like just the whole like the tens like slapping the money out of his hands and being like, no, I want what is most precious to you. I want what makes you feel beautiful. Like, I don't give a shit about your money. Very undeniable, very like, I just love when hunters are like super intense for no reason. Like, it's just like they're just walking around in London being like the fucking most, especially like the undeniable. It fits so well. I love that we got to see the masterwork and like how you described that. It was very cool. And for Matt's, yeah, I love Jenny. I love your portrayal of Jenny. I love people often make her like very like tough and like not standoffish necessarily, but like very much like, a bit more, yeah, a bit more standoffish. And I like that you made her like very like sweet and just like, hey, I need help. Please help me. Which I thought was a very interesting way to like a very fun take on that character. And yeah, thank you for bringing in the man in the sun masks because it was like I need to talk to this weirdo. I love him. He's so much all the time. And that conversation ended up being like very fun and interesting. Having these two characters that don't fully or only belong in this world, that know that there are other realms out there. That was, yeah, I like how it ended up like very like, oh, Jiayi's just strolling again, and then like, oh, you got something real out of her, which is kind of impressive in its own way, I think. Um, wishes. Um, it would be helpful for me if we're like a bit like meta-wise, a bit more clear about what we want out of a scene. Because you were like, you said we were wrapping up, we're not gonna do scenes anymore. Where are you going? So my brain was like, oh, we don't actually want to start anything. So I'll just say, like, oh, we'll leave that for next time. But then we did go into a scene with someone else, which felt like, which I don't like, to be clear, was like a great scene and I loved seeing it, but it did feel a little bit like, oh, I thought we weren't doing that. Because otherwise I would have loved to have like a little bit of a scene, of course, if that was you shifting the spotlight. And I felt in the same way that we maybe saw a little bit less of Mordecai because of maybe how it was framed. So for me, at least, it would be helpful to be clear, like, either we're wrapping up and I don't like this is not going to be a scene, or would you like us like just a small scene or a longer scene, or like just be like a little bit more clear on the meta level for my brain. It's just because I don't want to overstep. So that's just helpful for me. Other than that, yeah, I would love to see the different. I really do want to see Jiayi and Felix because I feel like the chaos is gonna be off the charts. Not even like for a vulnerable move or just like them investigating, because I feel like they have sort of similar approaches, but also not. And we also definitely need to get Jiayi and Ellie. And I want to see Ellie in more action-packed scenes again. I want to see her back in her element because you've been suffering, poor you. And I want to see like the American like have a moment again. Yeah. I think those are my wishes.
Whoops. Let's see. For me, man, this was a fun session all around. I really enjoyed seeing how Felix took command of the pub. Just the the swanning in gorgeously and wildly dressed and fragrant with this special perfume, and talk to this table, talk to this table, make friends over here, make friends over there. Just, it was a very undeniable moment of just, yes, I am the center of everything. Thank you for noticing. Uh, that was great fun. Um, Mordecai talking to Jenny was, I had not gotten the impression of Mordecai as someone who would want to talk. I mean, from from the previous what we'd seen previously, I would have expected Mordecai to go straight to the bodies, like talk to people. That's for other people. I enjoyed seeing him talking and interacting and being, reasonably sympathetic to someone in a bad position. And that was neat. That was a slightly different angle on Mordecai than we have seen before, and it was nice to get that sort of shift in perspective. And I also loved that conversation between Mordecai and Jiayi about hunting and yeah, yeah, that was that was very interesting. Um, Anti-stars to the dice. Um, I don't think that two sixes in a row for me was just like help. Uh, and yeah, yeah. So far, I have been assaulted by a tree and a child, and that is, I want to see Ellie get to fight back effectively too. Um, but Mads, as always, I love your NPCs. Those children were magnificent. Both the bloodthirstiness of wanting to hear about gory crime, which is very appropriate to kids in general and to kids who have grown up in very rough circumstances. Also, um, yes, as as Jazy says in the chat, I don't talk for free. Took me out. Yeah, yeah. Those those were calculating little brats, and they should be. Uh, and then they sold me out to a damn vampire. So, yeah. Hope they all get eaten. Uh, but wishes, I wish the dice would behave. Uh, but I too would like to see Ellie doing some more two-fisted action. Uh, and it would be interesting to see Ellie with Jiayi. I think they're they might have more in common than they think they do. Um, but it's hard to know for sure until they actually get to talking, and we'll see what that takes.
You all have played with me before. You know I do not mind scenes, random scenes, just for funsies, okay? So do not be afraid of random scenes. Um, and I apologize for the, yeah, I said we're wrapping up, but then like we ended up being in a scene, and granted it did give us like, the reflection and then scarring and all this kind of stuff, so I apologize for that. But yeah, sometimes things get away from me, and yeah. Um, so hopefully that will not happen again, and like we'll just have equal spotlight all around. Um, and that kind of leads me into like a weird anti-star, because I think there's going to be like a lot of Felix versus Night Phase. Will we ever see Felix in a Night Phase? Who the fuck knows? I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, yeah, that's why Felix gets like some extra scenes in Day, because we'll never see him in Night Phase ever. Anyway, yeah, I love the echoes in the day. I find it fascinating. We're only like, 3 episodes in, and like you guys are just continually like just reiterating these themes of like hunting, being hunted, and you all have backstory that's kind of like eventually going to butt heads against each other or are very much in common, and I want to see it. I want to see guys got to get together and like, like find some common ground, or like, show how this is really going to conflict in your collegialness or whatever together. It's great. I think the parlor versus the kitchen is going to be a thing. I think it's going to be a thing a bit. I don't know what it's going to be, but I think it's going to be a thing for you guys from here on out. If I'm wrong, then whatever. It's kind of fun. So let's keep seeing what it does. And yeah, I mean, stars all around for all the fun things that have already been mentioned because all these character moments have just been great, showing off the character. And again just want to see more of it. Like we'll hopefully see more spotlight on Jiayi, especially for like all the different things. I can't wait until night phase because if you do pull off that hypnotic allure on Man in the Sun Mask, man, like you're on the hook. You got to be like, like you got to be satiating each other like from here on out if you decide to pull that trigger.
I don't though. I can just make him obsessed with me, and then I just have to make sure that I get rid of him forever, one
Oh,
way or another, or
no,
he'll just
not.
scream in my head.
But he's so useful though. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm just saying. That's just me because I do love him. But anyway, that's just me. If you want to do it, that's fine. Do whatever you need to do. It's fine. And then the American always seems to be that the rootin' tootin' shooting usually like action thing, but I mean unfortunately that also means that they burn out real quick. So like it's almost like a resource management kind of character. So exciting, but yeah, very 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 stressful because it's like managing for their stuff. I mean like you've already what, like how many masks? I'm so sorry. Goddamn. And then like I want to see more of Mordecai, like not just the character moments, but also too like all the fun stuff that Mordecai can do, and like with the entities, because I love making entities come alive, yay! And then of course like Felix, more scarring, please, because this is gonna be fun. Yeah. So I don't want to keep you too late. Thank you very much for being patient with all the stuff. Want to get back to Little Blackbirds as well because again there is the time limit, and yes, figure out what you want to put down if you want to in the interim because we do have like 2 weeks instead of just one. If you want to kind of discuss as a table like in the Discord chat like what you think the clues are from the vulnerable scenes, like go ahead and do that in the Discord chat, so this way you guys have the opportunity to figure out what you want to put down as a clue for those things. Go for it. I'm okay with this, and then yeah, we'll make it official for putting in the threat. All right, if anybody have anything else that they wanted to mention beforehand, because if not, then happy gaming for anything that you're doing in the next couple of weeks, and I will see you for next time. All right. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you.
Oh, thanks for running,
Yeah.
Sam.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Bye.
running.
Thank you.
Thanks.